Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Gadigal people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Friday, May 5. In Squiz Kids Today, Arise King Charles, Cambodia's funky games, Rocket Raccoon versus Super Mario, and scaring seagulls for a living. That's what's making news, kid style.
The lowdown.
Can you hear that sound? It's the sound of pomp and ceremony, the sound of a great big procession of horses and carriages and soldiers and people, the sound of church bells ringing and crowds cheering. The sound, my friends, of a coronation. For that's what's about to happen in London tomorrow when the coronation of King Charles III takes place. Preparations have been underway all week as England prepares for the big event. Charles is replacing his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth, on the British throne, in a ceremony that will be broadcast to billions of people around the world. The word coronation comes from the Latin word corona, meaning crown, because that's exactly what King Charles will have plonked on his head during a long and very serious ceremony tomorrow in London's Westminster Abbey. It all happens around about 8 o'clock our time tomorrow night, where you'll see Charles and his wife, the Queen Consort Camilla, ride in a golden carriage from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Abbey, where he'll be given all sorts of glittering objects signifying the monarchy, including a golden orb, a coronation ring, and a sceptre, which is a ceremonial staff, containing one of the largest diamonds in the world. Now, speaking of precious stones, the crown that will be lowered onto King Charles's head tomorrow night is made of solid gold and is decorated with 444 rubies, amethysts, sapphires, and other gems. Imagine that. Representing Australia at the coronation will be our PM Anthony Albanese and a bunch of other Aussie special guests, including Matilda's captain and all-round footy-playing legend Sam Kerr, who has the job of carrying the Aussie flag into the Abbey.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Cambodia, where the Southeast Asian Games get underway today. So, what are the Southeast Asian Games? They're a little bit like the Olympic Games, but just for a handful of Southeast Asian countries. Countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and the Philippines. More than 11,000 athletes are expected to take part in the Games over the next fortnight. And as well as the sports you usually find at a sports meet like this, your athletics and your swimming for instance, there are a range of events which are unique to these games. I'm talking a sport called Kun Bokator, which is a local martial art, another sport called Regu Sepakatkro, which is a volleyball that you play only using your feet, and Uk Chok Trang, which is a Cambodian version of chess. That must make for riveting television viewing. Jet skiing, obstacle courses, and dance are also competitive events at the Southeast Asian Games because, as the saying goes, variety is the spice of life.
Believe it or not.
Are you lively, energetic, and fun? Do you have a bit of spare time and like spending your free time at the zoo? Most importantly, are you an excellent flapper? If you answered yes to all of the above, then there's a zoo in Blackpool in England that has just the job for you. They're looking for someone who can put on an eagle costume and flap around the park scaring off seagulls, you see. It's a simple enough job. Put on the costume, run around the zoo waving your arms about whenever you see a seagull. It's the zoo's latest tactic to scare off the flocks of seagulls that have become a pest, flying in and stealing people's lunches, even being so cheeky as to let themselves into the zoo's cafe to help themselves to people's ice creams. How rude. The zoo says people have applied from the job from all over the world. And I stuck a link in today's episode notes to the costume that you'd have to wear. I think if I was a seagull and I saw that jumping up and down in front of me, I'd probably fall out of the sky laughing.
Pop Culture Corner.
Look out, Super Mario. Rocket the Raccoon is coming for you. Unless you've been living under a particularly large space rock, you'd know that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 opened in cinemas around the country yesterday. The movie, starring Groot, Drax and Rocket the Raccoon, is the final installment in the trilogy. And box office predictions suggest it's going to beat Super Mario in the ticket sales department. What will Princess Peach make of that? Already, film reviewers have been posting stories all over the internet talking about the Easter eggs in this final Guardians film. And no, I'm not talking about little brightly wrapped chocolate eggs. An Easter egg, in this sense, is a hidden message or symbol in a movie, song or video, sometimes an in-joke. But it's the soundtrack that I'm most looking forward to, with the likes of Bruce Springsteen, Radiohead, and Earth, Wind and Fire making an appearance. And yes, okay, I know, I'm showing my age now.
Time for the Squiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What sort of a bird does an English zoo want someone to dress up as to scare off seagulls? Yeah, that's right, they want them to dress as an eagle. Question number 2. In which country are this year's Southeast Asian Games taking place? Yeah, that's right, it's Cambodia. Question number 3. What's the name of the raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy? Yeah, an easy one, it's Rocket the Raccoon.
Shout-outs.
It's May 5, May the 5th. Today is Revenge of the 5th, which, if you're a complete Star Wars nerd, you will know is a reference to the movie Revenge of the Sith. And yes, I promise that's the last Star Wars reference for the week. It's also a Friday, and you know what that means. Lots of birthday shout-outs, and a perfect excuse to break out the birthday reggae tune. Oh yeah, hit it! And it's a happy birthday today to Ruben from Cronulla, Emily from Edensor Park, Harry from Dudley, Huang from Ashmont, Scarlett from Dulwich Hill, Gary from Tumbiumbi, Maddox from Galangara, Antonio from Oxford Falls, and Helena, who's listening all the way over there in Brazil. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Matilda, Quinn from Duncraig, and Tommy from Hillary's. And to everybody who's celebrating a birthday over the coming weekend, happy birthday to Shai from Ashmont, Thea from Flagstaff Hill, Thea from Canberra, Zach from Abbotsford, Chelsea and Cooper from Foster, Hannah from Lilyfield, Margot from Dulwich, Samantha from Eden Hill, Anik from Brookfield, Lachlan from Wagga Wagga, Lewis from Goulburn, Connor from Double Bay, and Zachary from Eaglevale. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you're after a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again on Monday. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent weekend. Over and out.